On December 25th, 1907, they founded the New Templars, and still during the war, on August 18, 1918, the Tíitulo secret society, of which all the top Nazis were part of. The SS under Octogon and Himmler even dug for Templars treasures all over Europe and North Africa, and Rahn knew too much and got suicided on March 13, 1939. Later on, Hollywood and Spielberg made the Indiana Jones movies after the example of SS Otto Rahn. Here you can see his picture. This is the real Indiana Jones. You're all digging for all this Templar stuff. Many people got themselves suicided by the Swiss Nazi Templars, even today, where Uwe Bachschel, Wolfgang Umvogel, Dead Getschei, and many immigrants get suicided in Switzerland's torture centers. See my other vids about it. At least 3 of Hitler's lovers got suicided because they knew too much. 1 okay, but 3, no way. G.I.U.R.E.H, here in the picture, got suicided on September 18, 1931, with Hitler's gun. And yeah, well, she was one of his lovers. So here the self-proclaimed tough guy warrior is eating cookies and cakes like a grandmother. What a joke. Eva Braun got suicided on April 30th, 1945. Another one of his lovers. So you can see the tough cookie eater together with Eva Braun. And the English Unity Mitford got suicided with Hitler's gun, just like G.I.U.R.E.H, on September the 3rd, 1939. And she went to a hospital in Bern, Octogon, and died 10 years later due to the suicidation. Now these women started asking too many questions about what these Swiss with suitcases full of money had to do there all the time around Hitler, and they had to go. They had to be terminated by suicidation. A suicidation means when others suicide someone. Unity Mitford was British aristocracy, a baroness, and pharaonic per A, the big house. Now usually these people do not mingle with normal people, but Hitler himself was an initiated per A of the big royal house of the pharaohs, through his unknown father Frankenberger. He was a part of the bloodline, just as Mitford was. Hitler, in fact, was more busy chasing women than saving Germany. Well, most artists and painters love women, don't they? And maybe I could even tell you what happened to Hitler's child with Unity Mitford. So here we can see that the little pharaoh is already pushing in him inside. This is a Hitler's painting. I'd call this the Pharaoh show, like made by Hitler. You know? Was he already aware of that, or? You know? And here in Adolf's Pharaoh show, he painted the sun hieroglyph, and some more of Adolf's Pharaoh show. And here's some more, Jachin and Boaz, and the Freemasonry triangle, painted by Adolf. It even looks damn good. I couldn't do that. I think he was a damn good artist. So how come, in fact, that an artist who loves women and loves art, and how is it possible he gets so full of hate and so violent? How is that possible? And if anyone believes that Hitler died in 1945, well, I mean, this is the official picture. He's got a hole in his front head. I mean, and the other ones, the guards, they said, well, he shot himself in the side of his head. And look at his eyebrows. Come on. Well, faking the evidence in the era of nuclear technology and missiles through drilling a few holes and filling the jaws of a few corpses would absolutely be no problem, considering the abundance of dead human material in all sizes and all sorts at the disposal of the Nazi Templars at the end of the war. And the testimonies of the SS guards and so-called last witnesses of Hitler's last whereabouts cannot be taken very serious either. The media presents these SS elite guards as normal soldiers to us who just obeyed orders and knew nothing. These were highly fanatic and selected men, in fact, who were even initiated and would never say anything even under torture. And they were, in fact, never tortured. And this is very strange. Well, only the innocent get waterboarded. Never ever throughout history the guilty and the evil ones got tortured. And Joseph Stalin, who's responsible for the murder of millions of Russian children, the execution of millions of people, Polish officers, Russian deserters, and the rape of 2 million German women. Now, why do you think that this guy and reincarnation of evil didn't just torture the last living witnesses who saw Adolf Hitler alive? I mean, they were just some German SS soldiers, weren't they? Well, because it's all a big lie, that's why. Hitler only spoke German, so at the age of 56 in 1945 and mentally and physically exhausted because of all the lying and acting, do you think he wanted to study another language? So where do you think they took him? Yes, Octogon. And after the war, the younger Swiss Nazi Templar war criminals went to the USA and Argentina and started working for the CIA and other key positions and just slipped into some other jackets as usual. Well, they're even on Facebook, look at it. The former SS, you know, that's unbelievable. On November the 11th, 1918, when the First World War ended, Hitler stayed in the army until March 1920. Now, what did he do during those 2 years? Well, he worked as a spy or V-man from the German word Verbindungsmann of the Aufklärungskommando for the police and the army. During 2 years he spied and lied to the German people, and especially spied and lied to the German nationalists of the DAP, the Deutsche Arbeiterpartei, and the NSDAP, the later name, the German National Socialist Workers' Party. So over 2 years Hitler proves to us all that he's very capable of lying, spying, pretending to be someone else, keep secrets, put on another face and hide. So why does a man who claims to be a German nationalist himself and a lover of the German people lie and spy to the German people and even their nationalists, doing so over a period of 2 long years? These 2 years from 1918 to 1920 prove that he can very well lie to his own people and that he's far from being an honest, truly believing German nationalist. And as the Nazi Templars from Switzerland like the anti-Semitic ideas of the NSDAP very much, Hitler becomes member 55, and this spy and infiltrator even becomes their leader, or Führer, on July 29th, 1921. And due to his pharaonic ancestry, he gets initiated by Octogon and their Templars with true pharaonic rituals, and exactly at this time we can witness the transition towards the perfection of evil and the transformation of his personality and the pharaonic reincarnation of his soul and pure evil, which was only latent before due to his pharaonic genetics and bloodline only, which was pushing him in him without awareness. Afterwards, he's fully aware of who he really is, and this happened in 1921. And very shortly after, in 1923, it can be seen through this rare photograph of Adolf Hitler in Switzerland, in Zurich, who his real masters really are, who financed him $500,000 of today's value, the Nazi Templars of Octogon, Switzerland. Oh, I can't see this evil face anymore. And after his successful infiltration and taking over of the organism, the virus eventually kills its host on June 30th, 1934, during the Night of the Long Knives, or the Blood Purge, die Nacht der Langen Messer, by murdering all the early members and his early companions of German nationalists of the NSDAP, the National Socialist Workers' Party, and the very founding fathers of the National Socialist Workers' Party. He murdered all his former companions and so-called friends as Ernst Röhm and many others, and then it was bye-bye Germany, and the killing started. Germans, Europeans, Jews, Gypsies, children, looting and plundering, making the Templar banks of Octogon, Switzerland, richer and richer, and ready to expand to other parts of the world. And guess who was responsible for the financial crisis of 1929, making the rise of the Nazis possible? I mean, it's exactly in this time. Making it possible through the trust of the German population of solving the financial crisis. Exactly, the Swiss Nazi Templar banks. It was a very solid operation. I mean, this made the breakthrough of the Nazis possible, exactly when they needed it. Including the fact that when Hitler was sentenced to a 5 years prison sentence in 1923, he barely did half a year. So how come he only did 13% of his time? Who ordered to let him out? During this short and very comfortable time in prison, as you can see here, I mean, what a prison. I mean, he can eat his cookies and looks very comfortable. Well, the time was used for further initiation, writing Mein Kampf and setting the destiny of Europe. The enemy within is still very real today, and Hitler was one of them, and Octogon is their base. The eagle's nest, as in Roman Nazi pharaonic eagle symbolism, in octagonal Templars form, and the presence of Octogon, the base and the motherland. This is Octogon. This is Switzerland, the home of the Templar Nazis. They did it. Especially in the early days of the German Nazis in the 30s and 20s, a lot of Freemasonry symbols are being used, as the skull and bones here. And the fold-out pyramid Templars flag, as the Pope is having it. Adolf Hitler himself doing Freemasonry symbols with his hands, as all politicians do now today. Secret politician Freemason symbol. The hidden hand of the Freemasons, like Napoleon, like Stalin, like the rest. And watch his facial expressions of Mr. Goering while he's slipping his hand in his jacket. You can see he knows, you know, like he's, look at that. Now watch his face and the sneaky gesture while he's doing it. I mean, there's no doubt. Yep, they were all pharaohs, financed by Switzerland, so watch the Pharaoh show for more. I mean, there are real many times you can find this in history. So here we can see Mr. Hitler, he's sleeping, and apparently even slept during D-Day on June the 6th, 1944, knowing that millions of Germans were dying. That didn't bother him, did it? Millions of Germans were dying, children, women, all over the place. And this guy, he's just sleeping as a baby. Look at him. That doesn't bother him at all, does it? So here we're going to see Mr. Himmler, Heinrich Himmler, of the SS, standing for ISIS, and the Skull and Bones, total Freemasonry. So he's going to perform a Freemason handshake. Well, with his thumb, and the other bloke as well, he's going to push on the, here we can see that, on his knuckle, on his. So we can see it again. Both of the blokes are pushing with their thumbs on the knuckle of the right finger of the first finger, the index finger. Look how they're twisting their hands. This is not a normal handshake, is it? There's probably a lot of things to see on his ring. So these are not Germans. They are not Europeans. These are the destroyers of Europe. You know. These were the Swiss Templars, the Swiss Nazi Templars of Octogon. So you see the handshake? So here we can see the Freemason handshake of the pharaohs, just as Mr. Himmler just did. So this guy was not a German. He was a pharaonic Swiss Nazi Templar from Octogon. Here Mr. Hitler is shaking the hand of Mr. Pierre Laval from France. Well, look, it's all the same thing, eh? All Freemasons. And here too. Look how he crumbs his thumbs to be able to push on the knuckle of the index finger. Look at that. Well, here's another Freemason handshake, just as Mr. Himmler did. They even got a name for it. The shibboleth, whatever that may mean. And well, the Nazis didn't tell the Germans about this, didn't they? Well, here's some more of it. Look at it. Well, look at it. It's all the same. Today is September 11 years after. The Swiss did it. And I'll prove that to you. First, watch my other vids, the Pharaoh show, in which I explain how the Templars founded Switzerland in 1291, my videos about Octogon, the Swiss Nazi Templar secret organization, and how the Swiss Nazi Templars financed Hitler in 1923. September 11 is Enkutatash, a pharaonic sacrificial feast. And this is the country where they still celebrate Enkutatash, and was already mentioned by the pharaohs 5,000 years ago. And on September 11, 1343, the very last Templars got executed in the Blutgasse, or Blood Alley, in Vienna, Austria. Some 40 years after the famous Templars' executions on Friday the 13th of October 1307 in France. So September 11 is a very important date for the Templars, a date which is connected with hatred and revenge. And exactly 700 years later, in 1991, after the last crusade in 1291, when the crusades ended, the modern crusades against the Muslim world started again, as if they just picked it up again, exactly 700 years later. From 1291 to 1991. And because the American Senate and the United Nations finally blocked a full-scale war, it needed a false flag operation. And the exact date of hatred and revenge of the Knights Templars, or Nazi Templars, on September the 11th. So here we can see the symbol of the Templars on an American tank, an Abrams tank, during the Operation Desert Storm. There it is. This means the Templars control NATO and America. They did it. They did 9/11. And Switzerland, Octogon is their base. The Nazi Templars from Octogon, Switzerland, control the world. They want the oil and the opium, and due to the US military invasions into the Muslim world consequent to 9/11, a financial and economical collapse took place in the Arab and Muslim world, which dragged the world into a big financial crisis, with the banks, of which only the Swiss Nazi Templar banks could make enormous profits, and destabilized the entire world financially and otherwise. And yes, it was the Templars in 1291, after having founded Switzerland, founded the Swiss banks with the famous Templars' treasure. And their notorious Nazi Templar organization, Octogon, is very capable of assassinations of all kinds, and Octogon is the only one capable of extracting intel from the CIA, MI, etc., due to their infiltration everywhere and mining the World Trade Center. Here is a Templars bank. It says in German, you know, the Swiss, yeah, in German, in Palestine during the Second World War, before the State of Israel. Look, here's the flag, which came from the Templars, actually, which I showed you. It is a very strange picture here. Which is Israel now. I don't suppose it still says this here. There it is. The Bank of the Templars, it says, in German, you know. The Swiss and their Templars are best at keeping secrets. These people never talk. And Octogon, they just smile to the world while repeating over and over again how clean and neutral they are. They repeat all the time that Octogon is a sovereign state. Many people on YouTube say that the Jews and the Mossad did 9/11, but Jews can't keep any secrets. There's always a Mordechai Vanunu who snitches about Israel's nuclear program at Dimona, or some ex-Mossad guy who writes a book giving away Mossad's and Israel's secrets, like Viktor Ostrovsky. The Jews talk too much for being a perfect spy, but oh boy, can these Swiss, their Templars, their banks, their Nazis and their Octogon keep secrets. Oh boy, can they keep secrets. Thousands of years. It's the black nobility, per A, pharaonic, Nazi Templars, Octogon that rules the world. They are pure pharaonic per A breed, as all the Templars are noblemen. Their base is Octogon, Switzerland. They own the banks, lead the Freemasons, execute people all over the world, and never ever talk or break the silence. Here you can see a Swiss cave after World War II with all the Nazi looted goods, gold and valuables. And look here, in Switzerland, Octogon, they control the foreigners and the immigrants through the Tsar organization, meaning a king in pharaonic, as in a sarcophagus, or Caesar. Well, watch the Pharaoh show. This is pure pharaonic. So these are official Tsar documents, you know, they're so proud of their total control. The Swiss Templars. Oh. And their system, you know, to control the Swiss state, it's called ISIS. Staatsschutzinformationssystem. So that means the protection of the state information system. Well, ISIS, you know, that's pharaonic. They use ISIS, you know, the whore of Babylon, who gave him name to Switzerland. See the Pharaoh show. So this is part of the Swiss Secret Service, ISIS. Oh, nice, eh? So this is part of the ISIS document. You can all find it in the internet, really. Oh. Total control. Has anyone any doubts? You know, the Octogon is pharaonic. ISIS, the sisters of ISIS, les sœurs d'Isis, Schwester de Isis. This is Switzerland, this is Octogon. Total control, Templars, pharaonic, the masters of the world. Here's where the pharaohs are. Tsar for total control for the foreigners, and ISIS to protect the state. Well, what more do you want? Well, here she is again, ISIS. And she's not really crying. They did it. Octogon of Switzerland did 9/11. The pharaohs of Per A, the big royal house, rules the world. Their base is Octogon, Switzerland. Their political wing, the Freemasons. Their financial wing, the Swiss banks. And their military wing, the Nazi Templars of Switzerland, Octogon. And here you can see ISIS, who gave the name to Switzerland. It's October 28, 2012 in Switzerland, and it's been snowing the whole day. This is what it looks like. There. We had to put the clock last night 1 hour back. It's winter time. Well, it certainly is winter time. See? Well, I can't go out because of the murder threats by the Swiss police and the Justice Department. So I'll just stay in the balcony, get some fresh air. So then we went inside and burned the coffee. And with the coffee we had a cake. Usually my wife makes the cakes herself because we don't have so much money to buy it all, but I think she got it from someone. So the cake wasn't here. That here, the round thing was in here. And when I lifted it like this, and I took away the white circle here, I suddenly saw something. So at first I thought, well, it looks like a sort of a Star Wars design for kids, you know. And then I saw it. You see the octagon, and inside is the hexagon. So, and around it is a quadrangle. And the quadrangle is the base of the pyramid. I mean, that's we. Underneath, look at the dollar. On top it's them. The base, it's we. So that's the quadrangle. Then we got the octagon. That's the middle circle. And the middle circle protects the inner circle from us, the base, the hexagon. So the hexagon is the inner circle. That's the Freemasons, the politicians, their political wing. And then there is the octagon, which is the military wing, the Nazi Templars with their base Octagon, Switzerland. So this is amazing. Even under a cake they put all these things, you know. Even there, it's amazing. I've never seen this, but it's here. So you see the quadrangle. Then the middle circle is the octagon to protect hexagon from us, and hexagon is the inner circle, the politicians. Well, I mean, look around how they are. They got all this protection because from octagon, you know, remember the octagon shape on a police badge and a police hat, you know? Octagon is between hexagon and the quadrangle, between them. So these guys, you know, they even put it at the bottom of a cake. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely hilarious, it is. Oh man. There it is. So, there's the hexagon in the middle. See? There it is. That's the inner circle. The 6. So the inner circle is the 6, which is protected by the 8, and we, well, I suppose we are 4. Yeah, and we're just the people, yeah. So in fact this proves again what I told you before, is that hexagon orders octagon. So the political wing orders the military wing. The police, the army, yeah, and we are just a quadrangle. And the cat's just thinking, what are you talking about? Let me sleep. This is the cat, by the way. His hind leg, one of them was chopped off. Well, he's still there. Happy to be inside. There it is. Satellite pictures of the planet Saturn have shown a huge hexagram or hexagon, which looks exactly as the plastic under my cake. And it has to be considered that the guy who owns the plastic factory rather belongs to the financial elite than to the working class, who belongs to the financial pharaohs with all their secret lodges, secret symbology, and the true masters of our planet. There's a whole secret world of the enemy within, amongst and around us, of which we hardly have any knowledge due to their hiding strategy and laws of silence, camouflaged by lies and eternal false promises. These secret symbols show among themselves that they're part of the Per A big house clan, and that the item should be bought at their factory, almost as vulgar as a dog lifting its hind leg to mark its territory. Saturn again. I think there's another spot. So this is the like the satellite picture of Saturn, really. There it is. Well, I hope the cake doesn't do this in my stomach. So that's Saturn again. And if they already hide their secret markings under the cake, what do you think what nanotechnology, fertility killing materials are hiding within the cake? Today I read in the newspaper how outdoor jackets contain immunity killing, thyroid gland destroying and fertility attacking chemicals as polyfluorized PFC chemicals, or even worse, the perfluorooctane acids. So you're sweating inside this lab-tight structure, the pores and doors of your system are wide open, and it gets all sucked inside your genetic system. And it kills our human fertility. The bees are dying, and we won't be able to make any more children soon. With all these hidden dangers in our cakes and clothes, we'll soon have to fill in a triple form to apply for an artificial insemination, where of course only the pharaoh's DNA will be injected to fulfill our mammal instincts of getting pregnant and have children. For everyone. Well, for spreading their genetics, this works even better than the first right, or the prime noctus, the le droit du seigneur. So, just back to my cake. So here's the square, which is us, the pyramid, and here we can see the square here as well. Around it, and that's we underneath, and on top it's them ordering us, the top of the hierarchy. So it's amazing how stupid they think we are. I mean, in this symbol here under the cake, they give away the symbol of power, the structure of power. Here it is, under a cake. This is the structure of power. This is exactly how it works. And I just wanted to give you some more numbers. The hexagon symbolizes the square and compass. The number 6. You get the picture? The octagon symbolizes Switzerland and the Templars, the number 8. And we are the base of the pyramid, the number 4. Giving altogether 684 from inside to the outside. And when minus 18, which is 6 plus 6 plus 6, then the number 666 will appear. The wartime number. When we, the 4, will be given the number 2 from 8, so the octagon, the military, police, Nazi, Templar forces, 1 point, all weapon in each hand, and the right to kill will be given. So 666 is the right to kill, whereas 684, only Octagon has this right. So 6 gives the orders to 8, and 8 gives the orders to 4. So the hexagram or hexagon is 6 is the square and compass. Planet Saturn. Planet Saturn. They laugh at us, the enemy within, because they can get humanity, get used to everything, as all organization is useless, because it will get infiltrated and betrayed in the end, because they are hiding. Humanity can only resist by the sacrifice of the independent warrior, keeping his intentions to himself, and who sacrifices his middle-aged life for the beloved and younger offspring. Some mothers make warriors out of your sons so the pharaohs can't get them and make soldiers out of them. Only the independent sacrifice of the individual will provide mankind's delivery of the reign of the enemy within. All organization otherwise will shatter. We still outnumber them, but not for long anymore. If we don't act now and honor the lone warrior principle, well, honestly, I think mankind is too stupid, too cowardice and too selfish to understand this. In the book of Revelations, John talks about 666, the mark of the beast, but these Arab figures were first introduced after the Arab conquest in the 17th century AC. So at John's times, Roman figures were used. So we have to visualize the 666 as V1, 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 Roman. But when being a seer, revelations are not that clear to see, and he couldn't interpret the W, because the Roman W or unshal was quite round. So he finally interpreted the W by a Roman V1 or 6. Just one line missing due to all the different lines of the W, and only with www. We can buy and sell today in the modern way of electronic money. And the beast had 7 heads and 10 horns. As Switzerland, the home of the pharaohs, has 7 heads of state who divide 10 ministries among each other. The beast. Swiss pharaohs, that's why they finance the destruction of Europe with their banks and their Nazis and their Hitler and all the dictators and their drugs. It's a center of drugs.